Hey everyone, just wanted to say good evening and have a little discussion about what I consider to be something of a failure in the garden. Um, I started my seeds, and I do this every year, started my seeds a little early, a little too early, a couple months too early. and this is typically what will happen to a plant that you start too early and then you don't take care of. This poor thing is a goner, it's dead. The stem has collapsed on itself. This is a purple tomatillo, one that I had planted up. I was so proud of it. I was like, oh, yay, I'm going to have my purple tomatillos this year and everything. And as you can see, all of the plants that I just put in the garden right here are in a similar condition to this one, except they don't have a broken stem. This one, this poor thing just couldn't sustain its own weight in the house anymore. And it got under a little bit of stress and it broke. So that is a total failure in my opinion. And I just, it, it makes me very upset with myself. I do this every year where I start seeds way too early. And sometimes it works out okay. Usually not though, because by the time they get to be out in the garden, they're stressed. They didn't need to be in the house that long. They didn't have what they just don't have what they need for that long. It doesn't matter how many times you pot them up, unless you have a better setup than I do and can devote the appropriate attention to it. This is part of the result of what could happen as a total failure. So I'm going to go ahead and plant the rest of these out. Like I have just planted these out, and I have a few more. I'm putting some organic slow release fertilizer in the soil. I just dug this bed. I used my broad forked it all up, put a lot of a very well aged manure in there, horse and cow manure, and got it all ready. But I don't have high hopes for these plants doing what I would like them to do, which is produce a lot of food for me. So because they're stressed out, they're too big. They've just spent way too much time in a small pot. So uh, I'm going to do the best I can for them, but this is what I would consider a failure on my part. And this is a reminder to me. This is my reminder to myself: don't do this anymore, because I do it every year to some degree. I started way too early this year. I started January, February on seeds that really only need about 8 to 10 weeks max. Garden huckleberries and the tomatillos and things like that just don't need 12 weeks to get ready to be put out, unless you have a very short growing season or something. We don't. We have a very long growing season. So today we finally got our shade cloth back up. And so this is why I'm going ahead and doing what I'm doing tonight, to get these poor things as much relief as I possibly can. I feel bad. I know better. And so, um, yeah, this is what's happening. So I hope you all have a good evening. Let this be a lesson. Take my advice. Don't start your seeds too early, because it really can end in tragedy. Y'all have a good evening, and I'll talk to you soon.